Peter Oakes is here tonight with his wife, Yvonne. Peter Oakes, it's so good to see you, sir.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you so much for having us.
Yvonne, thank you for being here this evening. Now, you folks have probably remember Peter Oakes was on here a few years ago. He was with the CCD Expo, which stood for Creative Design and Development. We were a big sponsor of that. Thank you for allowing us that opportunity. But as I was joking to you before the show, I think there are like 6 guys in Loomis, all named Peter Oakes, and they all put their resume material in a big barrel, and then you bought the copyright to it, because one guy could not do all the things you've done. So, since you're a raconteur as well as an entrepreneur, why don't you tell us some of your background?
Well, being in the social media age, I got a link to a Facebook page a couple of days ago, a little while back, showing a picture of me in 1975 on the staff of the Loomis News as a news correspondent. I didn't even remember this, which means I've been at this for almost 40 years now. Just before exiting high school, Delaware, I've been through, backing up, I'm 4th generation Loomis, born and bred on the same piece of property. Mom lives next door, my cousins live behind us, and so being in Loomis, of course, I did Loomis Grammar School, Delaware High School, Sierra College, and you know everybody in town.
Yeah.
So my businesses have been here, and I started as an entrepreneur, and I have stayed an entrepreneur. I guess I don't maintain jobs well because I don't remember ever having one.
It's all a blur.
It is. I've had multiple businesses over the years. One of the first big ones I started was in '83. We had a business in Loomis called Home Video Services, HVS. We did film to tape transfer, went national with it. In '88, started a production company called Pacific Crest Media, which is what we have now, and doing TV commercials, infomercials, movies, television shows, and been producing video like that ever since. Then an interesting thing happened in '99. Came up with an idea for a sunscreen product.
I remember that one.
Called Swipes, Sun Protection Wipes.
Yeah.
And we took that worldwide. We had trademarks in 14 countries. We were in Walmart, Target, Rite Aid, CVS. What I didn't know in my being naive, I thought I was really good at business.
Yeah.
I had never gone up against a $13 billion company before.
Yeah.
And so when the sunscreen companies decided they didn't want us around, they didn't want us around.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, it's okay in that you learn a lot from this. You know, mistakes are the best learning tool you can ever have. And when the FDA says, yeah, you know what, your product is illegal, we're not going to let you manufacture it.
Yeah.
And to this date, you can't buy a sunscreen wipe.
No, but I do remember, I think we were at Eggplant Festival or something in Bobby Lynn, Westbrook with our staff, came over, and you had given away some free samples, if
Yes.
I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And we all got a bunch of free samples, and I know I used them, and some of the other folks in the company used them, and said, hey, these are pretty good, and it's not messy like some of the creamy gels.
That's right.
So maybe hopefully they'll change their mind, we'll be able to bring those back. It was a good product.
It would be nice if they do, but I don't hold my breath.
Okay.
Since then, I went back into the production business and we developed the CCD, and if you don't mind me correcting, it actually stands for Content Creation and Distribution.
Sure.
And what that means simply is when you create content, be it a movie or TV show or a video, a book, music, whatever somebody would consume, especially over the web, call content. And distribution is how that gets to the person that wants to view or hear it. And we help people understand how they can produce affordably and how they can distribute themselves through these new platforms like YouTube and Google and make money. They control it, they own it, and they decide how they want to monetize it. And it was a very successful show.
Well, we also want to ask Yvonne now, who's been very quiet. Although she does interrupt you quite a bit, old man. I noticed that.
And I appreciate it.
I try to
believe it or
behave
not.
myself.
Is this where you met Peter after the development of some of these businesses?
Yes, we actually met through work. He was installing the ordering and reservation system in a restaurant downtown.
Okay.
And that's how we met through work, and it just happened.
Great. Now, you, of course, also have your own bent in technologies. In fact, you wanted us to use a special superimposer or title for you. And I'll let you tell the audience, because I'm too afraid to.
I'm going by Can Do Geek. So I love solving problems, especially when it's nerdy, when it's computer related, things like that. I just love solving problems, so I became the can-do geek. A co-host and me, we are doing a live show on using Google Plus and using YouTube every Monday, and trying to take out the nerdiness and the geekiness and just try to explain things in normal English.
Right.
And yeah, except for that, and social media, web design, just jumping
Great.
in what was missing with the video production.
Excellent. Now, you've also, of course, we teamed up with you at that point where you were streaming a lot of materials. You had seminars.
Yes.
You involved some people that are top in the business, including some studios out on the coast and all.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I saw on your resume which very much interested me, and that you went to the Sony School.
Yes, I attended the Sony Institute in Hollywood,
Yeah.
and that was in '88. And we purchased a very large, expensive editing platform. Back in the day, that was 3/4 SP and,
Right.
and Betacam SP. And so we had built this very large platform for editing, and part of that was going to the Sony Institute to understand how to edit on that equipment, what it meant, how to tune it, how to work with it. And so that's something that I've always appreciated, being able to understand how to do that stuff.
We still have that kind of equipment here. In fact, our cameras are Sony, so Sony is top line.
And I've always been a big fan of Sony.
Now, so you must have gone to the old Columbia Studios that it was taken over by Sony in order to do your work there.
At the time in '88, this was, and I don't know I don't remember where the studio was.
I think it's in Culver City. It's not too far away.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
But,
I was impressed by that.
well, thank you.
That's a big company to work with.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And I've been fortunate, and I've worked with a lot of big companies. I've worked with Apple. We've worked with Intel. We've worked with the corporate videos and stuff we've done, Highway Patrol. We won an award with the Selective Service System for videos we did with them. And we've produced about 3,000 TV commercials. I've done 15 feature films, all indies. I've produced lots of television, and the number of corporate videos just kind of is boggling. And so I've been doing a lot of work that way.
So now you're at a new stage in your life, and you came down to the office yesterday. You were speaking to Sean Thomas of Wave, and talking about some very exciting project that you want to launch next. And I'd like you to tell the audience what it is that you have on your front burners now.
Well, thank you. I'll tell it in the story that I normally tell. On July 16th of 2012, so just over 2 years ago, after about 6 months of having difficulties breathing, I was developing a welt on the side of my neck, and especially at night, it was becoming more and more difficult to breathe. And the morning of the 16th, I literally couldn't breathe, and so at the time, Yvonne was my fiance, and Angela, my roommate, grabbed me, took me to the ER that morning. And after 8 hours of being poked and prodded and scanned, etc., the doctor came in and said, I don't know how to tell you this, and I don't have the final results, but you've got a very bad cancer. And he's looking at me, and they're looking at me, and I'm looking at them, and everyone's wondering what I'm going to say. And my answer was, hey, you need to get my camera. This is going to make a great documentary.
He's not joking. He is not joking. We weren't even on the room yet. The first things he got was the charger for the cell phone. We can't live without cell phones nowadays. And the camera, starting right there.
So
This is the kind of thing that keeps people going and staying alive.
that's exactly right. As a director, I can look at this from a different perspective.
Yeah.
I can have a different point of view and say, you know, if I'm doing this, I can feel better about it. I'm hoping to direct myself out of cancer. Because if mind over matter, if having a positive attitude, if taking ownership of this as part of your life, if that helps, then it's worthwhile. And if that message can resonate to people, that they control the only true medicine that can affect their lives, and that's their attitude. And if they have a good attitude, it gives them a better shot at living, if nothing else, a better quality of life with the time they have.
And there's a book that I think came out about 40 years ago called Passages. It was written by Gail Sheedy, I believe. And I think that it was in that book. And She recounts the story of a psychiatrist talking to a very depressed patient, and this patient had literally depressed themselves into staying in bed all day, couldn't get out. So he called her up and he said, what's the problem? And she was in her 60s, and she said, doctor, all I do is I think about all the things I've done in my life. My husband's not here anymore, my kids are gone. Her husband passed away like a few years before. I'm retired, I can't think of anything to do, I don't have any hobbies. And he said, okay. And he said, well, you're making yourself go prematurely. He says, now, here's what I want you to do. I'm not going to talk to you until you come down and you write, and you have to hand it to me, your wish list. Top 10 things you've always wanted to do, thought you could never do. Not a bucket list, a wish list. And she said, why would I want to do it? He says, impossible dreams. Write down your top 5 impossible dreams. And she did. And she came down to the office, handed it to him, and he said, okay, now we're going to work on how you're going to get rid of the blocks in yourself to achieve those. And she went on to have a good another 15 years in her life doing the things that she thought she'd never have time to do. So that's a very important secret, is to look forward to things that you want to do. Don't take this as a death sentence.
Boy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Coming out, producing a documentary like this, I was diagnosed with advanced stage 4 head and neck cancer. It's not a good scenario. I went in for extreme chemo for 4 months, using multiple chemo drugs that really kind of kick your butt. I went from almost 200 pounds down to 118.
Yeah.
You lose a lot of weight.
Yeah.
I can't eat anything, barely drink anything, so I've got a powered port in my chest, and I'm at infusion every day, getting fluids and blood draws and all that stuff. So after chemo and radiation, I get a clean bill of health February of 2013. They say, cancer's gone. So I spend the next 8-9 months just happy as a clam.
And having beer.
I did have a beer. I actually made a beer down. But you're in recovery. You're coming out of extreme chemo and radiation, so you still spend a lot of time in bed. You're still recovering.
Sure.
But in January of this year, of 2014, I started getting severe headaches across here.
Yeah.
And I started getting double vision in my left eye.
Yeah.
And went to the doctors, went through all the tests, and they sent me, as a result, down to Stanford Medical to go in front of the tumor board. I didn't even know there was such a thing.
Yeah.
And you go in front of these world-class doctors, and they evaluate your situation, and the bottom line came back. And of course, we've got our cameras running the whole time. You can't miss that.
Yeah.
Doctor came back and said, I don't know how to tell you this, but you have a new cancer. It's good news, but bad luck. And the good news is it's not related to the old cancer, because if that was the case, it would have been blood-borne and you have a terminal illness.
I see.
This is a new cancer, so that's good news. Bad luck is you've got a new cancer, and you're going to have to go through surgery, radiation, and chemo all over again.
Yeah.
So in February, they removed my left eye, went in, took the tumor out, and then I went through several months of a couple months of the chemo and radiation.
Wow.
Finished that in May. And again, I'm one, and along with Evie, we have a positive outlook. We're going to beat this. So 2 months ago, I started getting headaches on this side. Went back into the doctors, started doing all the new tests, and unfortunately, it came back that the cancer they were not able to get. It has spread across the top of my head. They're seeing spots in my bone, and their diagnosis is that I have a couple, maybe 5 or 6 months to live.
I see.
So I have a terminal cancer as far as they're concerned, and it's time to get your affairs in order. So the first thing I do as a business person, and as someone I pride myself on trying to take care of the details if I can, is you got to get that stuff straight. And we start doing that. We start cleaning everything up. I don't want to leave a mess for my family, for my wife and my family. I want them to want to be able to enjoy what time I have, and I don't want to leave a giant mess as I exit.
Right.
So we get a lot of that stuff done as much as we can. And then a month ago, my sight in this eye goes away. I get horrible headaches and my eyesight's gone, so I'm blind, I can't see. Went back to the eye specialist and he said, wow, the problem with your eye isn't cancer. The problem is you've got shingles. If you've had chicken pox, you are susceptible to shingles.
Yeah.
And what brings on shingles is extreme stress. And so I asked the doctor, I said, if somebody tells you have a couple of months to live, would that qualify?
Yeah.
Laughing, he said, yes, that would qualify. And so I ended up developing shingles. And for the last month, I've been undergoing hardcore antiviral drugs and et cetera. And as of last Saturday, the shingles is in remission.
Good.
And the
Good.
eyeball has repaired. Unfortunately, the ability to lift an eyebrow or have my eye function is compromised by the cancer. So
Okay.
it's still progressing.
Well, I admire very much your courage, and I know that your new project has to do with the stage
Yes.
and providing for people who need help. Me and my friends are still going to pray for you.
I appreciate that so much.
I don't think anyone should toss in the towel.
Oh, we are
Oh,
not
no,
tossing
no, no,
the
no.
towel.
Good.
I don't want the idea to come across that I'm giving in when I accept that the doctors think I have a terminal illness.
Good.
We will do everything we can to beat this. And it starts with attitude, because that's what I can do, and it goes to being open to other alternative treatment now that chemo and radiation are not an option.
Right.
Doctors won't do it because it won't do any good. So that means I'm open to trying homeopathic or alternative forms of medicine. And I have every belief that I will come through this.
Very good.
So to what you were talking about, one of the things in trying to raise money, I am out of work. I can't see, so I cannot produce an income anymore.
Right.
So we put out a call to try and raise some money. And Yvonne started a site for, signed up with a crowdfunding site. And
So there are multiple outlets out there for crowdfunding. Specifically for that case, there's GoFundMe. GoFundMe focuses on donations, so it's not trying to get a product out there necessarily. It's a benefit to somebody. So we started the GoFundMe campaign and sent out the call for people to help, because taking care of him was a 24-hour job, so I couldn't get work done. He is not able to get work done. And within a few days, a lot of people stepped up and we were able to take care of all the bills.
Wonderful.
now that's the immediate bills. We still have a lot of other things to do moving forward. Part of the effort to try and raise money, though, leads us to the core project that you have us talking about today, and that is on October 4th, the town of Loomis has its annual Eggplant Festival.
Yes.
Something you guys are always there, and we've always seen you there. The festival goes from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The town and the Chamber of Commerce and the Seroptimists have been kind enough to allow us to be a part of that we will take over the stage that's at the end of the Blue Anchor Park. And it's called the Peter Oaks stage. Why not have it there? And it is from 5 until 10 p.m. We'll have multiple bands and musicians up there. It's going to be kind of a long jam session. It's going to be broadcast live worldwide via Google Plus and YouTube.
Okay.
And it's tied directly to a crowdfunding campaign so we can raise money. But more importantly, what we're doing at this concert is to develop and prove the concept. The concept is that we could produce a TV show that has music as its background. The foreground is a family in need, and the structure is the community that comes together to help. Be that community local in town or the community online. Together they can raise the money necessary for that family to function. And if we prove the concept, we will make this a regular monthly or bi-monthly concert to help a family in need. So if somebody, their house burns down, or they lose a family member, or they develop cancer,
Right.
we can put on a concert, broadcast on Google Plus and YouTube, tie it to a crowdfunding program, and now you've got an amazing amount of audience, and donating $1 or $5 or $10 will raise an incredible amount of money. And over a year, we'll have built an archive of concerts and music. You'll start seeing a lot of viewers, a lot of subscribers. And so we're actively developing that company right now. It's something that really keeps me preoccupied.
Good.
And that's what we're hoping to do. So October 4th will be our concert. And it's a free concert. Anybody is welcome to come. It doesn't cost you a dime. If you would like to donate, that's great. But if you don't want to, just come support the musicians that are there, and enjoy that wonderful event. It's the Eggplant Festival during the day and our concert at night. It's going to be amazing.
Well, thank you very much for proposing to us for us to have a partnership with you. I know that Sean is working on it, and we'll get back to you very soon and tell you what we will do to help you.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you.
But leave it to you to come up with something like this. This is the kind of thing that most people would be putting a tizzy going through all these terrible threats, and you say, perfect place to start something, not only to help myself, but other people who are facing the same thing. I mean, that's the thing that leads to a long and happy life, and I hope that you get that.
Thank you.
And we had some really big role models in infusion.
Oh, boy.
If donating your time and helping people out there, you're going to look at life different. Just spend a couple hours at the infusion center at Sutter, and you're going to look at life different.
Yes. I want to thank you both for being here. I know that this has been a little bit taxing and time consuming, but we're happy that you were able to make it here. We will make sure that we will, the GoFundMe.com, Pete's Fighting Fund, that will be on the screen during this presentation since this is pre-taped.
Okay.
And we'll make sure that people will be there.
Great.
And we will be there at Eggplant Festival. We'll be live on the grounds. I hope that you'll take some time out and come talk to us before your concert.
We sure will.
If you're not too busy, Mr. Producer, Director, Techno Person.
One last thing for another address, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
When I was shooting the documentary, Yvonne was producing the Facebook page that documents everything that's happened.
Please.
And you can see that at facebook.com/StageIV.
Got it.
Like the Roman numeral 4. So
Yes.
Stage IV. You'll see the day I went into the hospital and all the videos and all the events that have happened since. And that page gets updated daily as things are happening. And you'll see gaps in there where I'm simply in bed for 3 months, nothing happens, so
Right.
those gaps come. But you'll see everything that's going on live.
Plus the first beer.
Yes, plus the first beer.
Plus the first beer?
Yeah.
After the first treatment, we went out and he had a beer that big.
Oh, well, this is good. Ausgeszeichnet.
Yeah.
And what kind of beer was it?
I believe Aloha.
Aloha.
Oh,
I
Aloha
was
from
after
Loomis
it.
Basin Brewery.
Aloha.
Very
Yeah.
good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Peter,
What a pleasure.
we're going to continue our prayers for you, and we thank you for letting us be involved in your project.
Thank you for being here.
Yvonne,
Thanks for having us.
great deal of courage, and we support you. We hope that everything will go well. Once again, GoFundMe.com, Peter's Fighting Fund. We're going to take a brief break. When we come back, we'll be talking to Celia McAdam about some of the big projects that are going on in traffic right here in Placer County. You'll be happy to hear about some of our great updates. We'll be right back.